Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast about movies. Each episode is about a particular movie, and we'll get to that movie in a little bit. But first, we need to invite you to the fan vote, which is going to happen next week during Tay's episode. So if you want to get a recommendation into the vote, all you got to do is either send us an email at filmfreaks with a Z at the end at gmail.com or comment on the latest episode of the podcast on YouTube, or go ahead and join the Ferret Nation Discord and talk in the movie stuff section and say, hey, I want this movie to be chosen. It could be any movie you want, really, as long as it's not pornographic, I suppose. Well, I guess we haven't tried, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
There's always a first.
Yeah, there's always a first. We know what Tay's pick is for the next episode, huh?
No. I'll let someone else be that first.
But yes, if you want to, one, suggest a movie for the fan vote, and two, if you want to join in on the fan vote, that will be next week. And the poll is in the Discord now instead of being on Twitter. So that's just an FYI for you freakers out there. All right, let's go ahead and get into the... Well, I guess we need to introduce ourselves before we get into the movie.
Yeah. No, I can be
Everyone knows this by now. It's fine.
I am Resident Ferret, and I'm here with...
Evil Waffles.
Hey, Mation.
Ray, evil.
Resident Evil.
Hey, now that's a good one.
I was like, well, if Yemmy took Resident, Greedy took Evil.
Maybe you should just do all the name conventions from now on.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's a lot of pressure.
You can handle it. I believe in you.
Well, you know who should be doing that is Callus. You know, he listens to every episode and he knows what movie's coming next, so he could always pop a comment and be like, "You should use these names in the next episode."
That's true.
That would alleviate some load from my shoulders.
Does he actually listen to every episode though? All right, let's quiz Callus. Let's quiz him right now.
I think he does, but I don't know if he does it like when it first comes out. Like he might be a little behind, judging by his one time where he messaged us something about dags.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he doesn't comment on YouTube, but he does do a nice comment on Discord. So usually we know when he watches or listens.
Yeah.
All right, Callus, this is your quiz. What's 25 plus 5?
Ooh.
All right, we'll let him stew on that for the rest of the episode, and then we'll reveal the answer.
Yeah, we'll get back to you next week when we don't remember about this.
I was gonna say, did you say plus 5 or times 5?
Nope.
Oh,
no hints.
Oh no. I wasn't paying attention. I'm glad it's not me who has to answer.
Someone's just gonna see a random number in the Discord. You're like, what?
Yeah, because we'll have all forgotten by the next time we're recording, or even when the episode comes out. All right.
Speaking of numbers,
enough waffling around. Greedy Waffles, why don't you waffle out the movie for us?
That was some good segues.
Yeah.
Good waffling.
Good waffle.
Why don't you iron out this movie?
Oh, okay, stop. It's time to stop. All right. So I continued the horror genre and emphasis on horrid. Oh, got him. I recommended Resident Evil, the original from 2002. It is zombie horror. It is directed by and written by Paul W.S. Anderson. What is it about? A special military unit fights a powerful, out-of-control supercomputer and hundreds of scientists who have mutated into flesh-eating creatures after a laboratory accident. They don't mention the dogs? Come on. All right. Some stars Mila Jovovich, yeah, as Alice, Michelle Rodriguez as Rain, Ryan McCluskey as Mr. Gray, Oscar Pierce.
Mr. Krabs? Did you say Mr. Krabs?
Yeah, Mr. Krabs. And I think that's pretty much it.
To ease your mind, Greedy, the Letterboxd review does have the mutated hounds in it.
Oh, okay.
So
You mean synopsis?
yeah, that's what I meant. It does
Okay.
have the mutated dogs.
Okay, all right. Well, it did say mutated, so I give it some slack. All right, where do I start with this? Oh boy, I start with just saying sorry, guys, for picking all the bad movies. um, I, I don't know where to start with this. Like, this movie was just like very random, and it was just very
I told you.
confusing and very not
I
good.
told you if you liked the games, don't get your hopes up. Because
I mean, it was all right. I mean, like the action was fine a little bit, but just like the overall
You
plot
can't
and
you
like
can't
the
start off by
story.
saying I'm sorry about picking this movie and then say it was all right.
By all right, I mean like not good, but all right. If that makes sense.
that
mean,
wasn't the
okay.
worst movie he's ever picked.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But I was very confused on like I get the disease or whatever you want to call it like made you lose your memory, but it just seemed very like they didn't know what to do with it, and it just seemed very random at times where what's her name, Alice Mila Jovovich, just random flashbacks. And it was just like, okay, why are we having this flashback here? And it just seemed very random, like when the guy turned on her. I don't know. Maybe I just was out of the movie by then. And I was just very annoyed with it.
well, yeah, they were piecing together like the events before the virus got
all the stuff
released.
that led to the virus being released. Yeah.
So like
Yeah, I
they
get
were
it,
in like
like
this
he was
undercover
part of it.
relationship,
Yeah.
and she was tasked or paid to try and steal the virus, and he got wind of it because he was using that little stupid microphone gun, and
Hey, those things exist, okay?
it looks stupid though.
It
I
does
mean,
look stupid, yeah.
but and he essentially his whole plot was because he probably remembered much quicker than her, I'm guessing. But he just didn't show
I
it.
wouldn't think so.
No, I think he didn't remember until
That end where he like started like getting angry at her.
yeah.
And I feel like he was harboring that anger for. I think he was kind of fibbing for a little bit, and then when that moment came up, that's when he was like, "And now I'm against you." Because if you're coming back from that kind of thing, I mean, would you really like immediately just turn on everyone? He probably was getting his memories back slowly, like Alice was, but
Yeah, like
he
he
was
probably
like,
that.
oh yeah,
probably-
I'm evil. I should
Yeah.
I should hide this.
I feel like it was at that. Like he probably had pieces and like going, well, what's going on? Like I kind of remember stuff, and then finally when she like, oh, I was the contact. That was probably what triggered him, I guess. Be like, oh yeah, contact. I was betraying her. Yeah.
Well, I think it was just. I mean, the start of the movie
Yeah.
was fine with like all the people getting gassed or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Like
but
actually
then-
watching that, I was
Laser.
like, damn, this feels like it could almost be an Aperture Science like Portal movie. And then it quickly is not.
yeah, well, they have like this really nice opening frame of her like falling in the shower, and then they just don't do anything with the. They just don't do anything in the movie for another like. Felt like an hour. There was just nothing going on, and then
The movie's
the
only
laser-
an hour.
the laser
No.
part came up.
like
100
an hour
minutes is not an
45.
hour. Thank you.
Yeah, that's an hour and 40.
It's like
But-
close enough.
It felt like forever until the laser section happened, and then like there's a lot of action, but I didn't really like any of the characters, and I didn't really
No.
like much of the
Well, they were-
action that happened, and
They were real. They were all. I mean, Mia did I think the best, but the rest of them were just acting so bad. Like the acting in it was just awful.
I hated that one security guard leader, not security guard, but FBI dude. What was his name? Clarence or something like that. I don't know. Just
The one
he
who
was
got-
the one doing like avoiding the lasers by grabbing up, top and
Yeah.
doing ab crunches to avoid the laser. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I feel like so for me, I have seen this movie before, and I thought the laser grid actually happened much later. So to have it suddenly pop up like that quickly, I was like, oh, okay. Like it didn't change my opinion of the movie, but
I just in the grand scheme of things, I thought that was like the high of the movie, even though it took forever to
sure.
get there.
Like,
And then I was like, well, the rest of this movie, I probably could have turned it off and not have missed anything. Cause
yeah,
Yes.
no, because I do remember seeing this back in high school, and like friends talking about it and they going like, oh, it was so cool in that laser scene, like that, like before I saw it, and like, oh, that's the big thing, and it happens before halfway through the movie, and you're like, oh.
I will say the one lady who dies first, just standing there dumbfounded as the laser comes, it's like, hello.
Yeah.
Everyone is like
Head
shouting
chopped
and
off.
saying, get down. And she's just like, well, I'm on my iPod to playing Angry Birds, over here. She's playing a round of Plants vs. Zombies, and you can even hear it like a little bit when she's playing it. It's just doo 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 when the laser beam hits her. Yeah, I was like, why are you just standing there? Like everyone's freaking out, and you're just standing there. Like I think they didn't know what to do with her, and they just were like, well, kill her off.
Yeah. Well, she was monitoring their levels. She's like, wait, why are you guys suddenly so stressed?
Yeah, why is your heart rate going up?
Oh, it's a laser of death.
Obviously, the visual of like the laser going through her, then the blood seeping out, and then the head falling. Like that's a cool visual. I mean, all those deaths are pretty fun inside the laser grid. You just got to kind of turn off your brain a little bit for that first lady who's just standing there. But like, the one guy, he tries to jump over it. I thought that was such a good little twist where the laser just bumps up randomly and slices him in half. And at the end, the one guy gets like, what would you call it? Like slice and diced? I don't know even how to describe it. Cross-stitched. I don't know. I do feel like all he would have to do, because there was like a little alcove for the door.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't he have just backed up into like the little alcove? I don't know.
Probably.
Probably.
I feel like he also could have done his little crunches again because the laser didn't go that high.
Right.
Yeah. It only cut off his knife.
It should have cut off like his left butt cheek.
Yeah.
That would have been the stakes would have been higher there.
Cut off the pants.
Yeah, and his ass is just hanging out. So now he's distracted, and then the laser's like, "Aha, got him now."
Well, I mean,
very Final Destination-esque.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Except
And I
people
feel
actually
like
die. Final
they
Destination.
got off the easiest,
Yeah.
Quick, painless death.
Nice and barbecued.
Oh, besides the one who got cut in half, that one probably wasn't very quick.
Well,
Probably not. Oh, that's disturbing to think about.
Yeah, he was probably still he might have been still alive after they just walked through and he's just unconscious. It would have what's the word? When you burn the wounds.
cauterized.
Yeah, it would have cauterized the wounds so his organs wouldn't have fell out. Whatever. I can't talk.
Maybe he's the one who took the bodies away after when they came back through.
Yeah, well, he probably would have turned into the virus was in the air, so he probably would have just turned into a zombie.
Well, not at that point. The virus had already been circulated out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he eventually died again.
Yeah, because they would all turned into zombies if, just going in there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, 90% of the group does actually turn into zombies, so it happened anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they were all bit, because I think that was what they were checking for levels, I guess, when they got in there, was to see if the virus... Actually, they didn't know the virus was out.
Yeah,
But
not until the kid was like, oh, you're going to die.
Yeah, I mean, the supercomputer probably neutralized the virus, but those people were infected, so they had to be killed, even though she had an antivirus. I guess she didn't have the antivirus. I don't know.
It was on the train the whole time.
Yeah, on the train.
The whole supercomputer thing is just
it was out of nowhere, too. I was like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Especially, if you've played the Resident Evil games, it's just like, wait, what?
They could have literally just gone in there and they could have, figured out they're all like zombies or like these mutant things, and then been like, oh my god, they didn't need the supercomputer.
No, and it's funny because the failed multiplayer version of Resident Evil that came out, it was a couple years ago when Resident Evil 3 was around, or new. The remake was new. It had like a mastermind mode where someone kind of controlled stuff in the game. I wonder if they were inspired by this Resident Evil movie for that. Maybe just a little bit. But I also was expecting like them to go into the room and you know how there's a secret ending to Silent Hill 2 where it's the Shiba Inu at the controls?
Spoilers? No, okay.
I would have loved to just see that, or just like they open the door and it's just the dog like pressing random buttons with his paws. I mean, that would have made the movie a 10 out of 10, honestly.
Just a mutant dog, you know, pressing all these buttons.
That's the end of the movie. Is it's just a little Pomeranian or something like that, just pressing the buttons.
She's like, oops, I accidentally released the virus. I thought it was the treat button.
Resident dog.
So since this was my second time seeing it, I mean, again, it's been more than 20 years since I last saw it. But like, I feel like it feels more like a prequel to the games, like is what they were kind of going for. Because seeing the second one is closer to the games, like the first game, or maybe the second game. I don't know, whatever one they're in the city. But they actually have like Jill Valentine and the other Stars members.
Resident Evil 2 and 3 are coexist in Raccoon City.
Yeah. So, it's like this kind of just feels like a prequel to the first game. Is what they were trying to go for.
All they had to do was use that mansion setting, and put a couple zombies in there, and boom, you have at least a competent movie. But instead, they were just like, and here's every single zombie at the same time. The zombies just came out of nowhere every single scene. It's like, how do we not hear them approaching, from the sewers and from the hallways? Like, what do we...
especially when the one popped up from the water. It's like, come on.
Yeah, especially because that area of the hive, as they were calling it, wasn't very, popular. Most of the people were, a few floors up. That was the scientist room. There weren't, elevators aren't working, so how'd the zombies get down there?
Yeah.
And that many.
They took the stairs, like the rest of them.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I just feel like it would have been better actually if it ended and everyone did die. And then it would have felt more like a prequel to the first game, because then you're like, oh, okay, well that makes sense why we don't know any of these people. They all die.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have seen what's her name's part at the end.
Yeah, she Mia, I can't ever remember her name.
Mila, whatever.
Mila, yeah, she loves to be half naked and draped in something in most of the movies she's in. I've seen her in.
Same. I get it.
So, it just when she showed up in the shower, draped with the curtain over her, I was like, oh yeah, this would be the Mila movie if she wasn't half naked and something draped over her. And it's probably only 2 movies. It's probably just Fifth Element in this one, but it feels like a lot.
I feel like you could make the argument for Hellboy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking I knew her from somewhere, but it was Hellboy. That's it.
I don't remember her in Hellboy.
Yeah,
I think she's in the Golden Army. She's the whatchamacallit.
Yes.
Can't think of it.
Golden Army was the second one, right?
Yes.
Which was the better of the 2, I do remember. But I haven't seen either of those movies in forever. But so 3 movies where she's half naked with something just draped over her bits.
Yeah, so
it must be in her contract.
So the thing that really boggles my mind is this movie came out the same year as 28 Days Later. And if you've seen 28 Days Later, you know that that's the star child of zombie movies. It really kickstarted that genre.
Well, it kickstarted the fast zombies genre.
Yeah, I feel like it reinvigorated the zombie genre. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
It definitely helped with
and
that.
It boggles my mind that movie came out the same year as this movie, 2002, because 28 Days Later Has
So much
all the
better.
tension. It has all the filmmaking, cinematography, special effects,
Everything that you
the
want.
setting, everything that you kind of want. And you could literally call 28 Days Later Resident Evil, and I think it would make more sense than this Resident Evil movie. Funny enough, I mean, maybe not like perfect sense, obviously, but I think you could kind of change maybe a couple things here and there and be like, it's Resident Evil movie, and it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like the zombies in this movie weren't really even that scary. The stupid thing is like they're shooting like thousands of bullets into these zombies, and randomly the computer's like, or the computer is like, you need to shoot, do trauma to the head. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I'd shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
It's so like, what do you mean no one shot a single zombie in the head until they were told that's the weak point? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, when the two leg shots and a chest shot doesn't take it down, don't you think the next option would be shoot it in the head? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It
was
made me so
dumb.
frustrated in that first part because I'm like, all these bullets being wasted here. Because I'm a big Resident Evil guy, and saving ammunition is like my specialty in those games. I'm like, why are you wasting all of these shots with body shots? You know they're gonna get back up at this point because you've seen one get back up.
Yeah.
Just shoot it in the fucking head.
My only theory for that, is so they could kind of get that Resident Evil feel and be like, oh, well, we only have like 3 bullets left.
But
And
did
it's like-
they? Because their guns seem to have unlimited ammunition.
Yeah,
It's true,
that
it
is
did.
true.
They fired that
No.
pistol so many times at the end. Like,
Well, until the end, or until the one dude died on the.
He didn't die,
Pointed.
though.
Was it?
He didn't die there, though. Remember? He
Oh,
was
yeah,
about to
they
shoot
put-
himself, and then
They bamboozled. Yeah, that's right. With the
and then
stupid.
he shot a zombie and crawled away, and then showed up again later.
also, that section also pissed me off because those zombies weren't even trying
Yes.
to grab him when
Yeah.
he was fumbling around on the ground.
That's another thing I noticed. Like these zombies, when they had the person, it's just like, we're gonna, rub our hands on you and
Fill you
like
up
you.
a little bit and then let you go.
Yeah, when they were crawling on the pipes too, and you just see some of them like half like, I guess you're up there, whatever. I'll just follow you. Like, even the zombies were directed and acting bad. I was like,
crap. Yes, they were bad, and the makeup wasn't even that good for them either.
blue contact lenses, and then if they had
Yeah.
been wounded in some way, the wounds were
Red
there.
dye, the bite marks, red dye. Here you go.
Yeah.
CGI was kind of crap too.
Oh,
Oh,
so
They had
bad.
their face.
Yeah.
The CG
Was it CGI or the?
awful. Yeah, it was definitely because they had.
Well,
they
the
had,
dogs were animatronic, right?
No, they were
no.
just regular dogs, I think, wearing rubber suits.
Yeah, they had dogs in dog makeup.
Yeah. And I think some of the dogs were CGI.
I'm
For
sure
some
the
of
ones
the
that were
shots,
like
but-
jumping up and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the liquor in the game just terrible, like absolutely awful.
And what was the purpose of it? Like,
Not the game,
we
the
got
movie.
you got this big, thing coming at you. They're like, we got it, no problem. It's like, really?
I just don't get like, how do you misuse one of the most famous Resident Evil enemies? It hunts by sound, and it's vulnerable to fire, and you do neither of those things with it. You don't have it hunt by sound, and you don't use fire against it. Pretty lame.
Well, they did at the end.
That was the sparks. God, that doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
Sparks from the
But
rail.
technically, it was fire that killed it in the end.
All right, I'll concede.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like,
I just feel like bust out the grenade launcher and shoot an incendiary around at that thing. Really give it that Resident Evil feel, and then maybe have it die on the tracks. I don't know.
yeah. Well, yeah, because the fire just felt incidental.
Yeah.
About that plot twist everyone did not see coming of rain turning.
Yeah.
That was all sarcasm, if you guys can pick up
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Completely shocked.
It's dumb that she tells her I'm not a zombie yet, and then 2 seconds later I'm a
2 seconds
zombie
later.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand if that was like, before they got on the train and then she was a zombie. Cool. Okay. But, literally 2 seconds later, like Yemmy said. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so dumb.
Well, I also hated how they transformed the liquor. I hated the new configuration. I thought it looked stupid.
Yeah.
And the base design isn't terrible, I guess, but
I can't say anything. I don't know what the original or the games look like in the games.
You played Resident Evil 2, didn't you?
Nope.
The first one in the movie looked more game accurate, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looked more closely to. It was obviously, I think it looks a little bit bigger, but
Yeah.
when it transforms, it turns into like a dog almost.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. There's just, I didn't even know what to say about this movie. Like,
Yeah.
the credits started rolling, and the only thing I said was "yikes." Like that's literally all I said, and that's really all my thoughts are. It's like that was a train wreck, and there was like maybe one or two good action moments, but the rest of it was just like poorly managed, poorly shot, poorly acted.
Yeah.
But I think the action actually is what kept me in it. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but it was just like so bad entertaining.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just like, all right, this is entertaining, but it's bad.
yeah. I mean, the thing about it is though the choreography was really dull,
Yeah.
and the
I mean,
disbelief.
was there any? It was just probably like, okay, you're gonna try to eat him, and then good luck, figure it out.
Well, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. But
Yeah.
they didn't do. They didn't do enough to build tension. It was 1 to 100 with the zombies. Like they started out with the first one, and that could have been a cool moment if they took it down and then they kind of did like the Resident Evil thing where it's like, okay, now there's a couple of zombies, now there's a couple more, then they build to a horde of zombies. But instead, it's like one zombie, and now there's 1,000, and now they're in the sewers, and there's 1,000 in the sewers, and I just really did not like that idea of like all of a sudden the zombies are there. You play any other game or watch any movie in the zombie genre, like usually it's like, okay, there's a couple of zombies here, but it's nothing unmanageable, and then they turn the corner and it's like, and there's the zombies all kind of hanging out, or like the Walking Dead video game. World War Z, I don't like that movie. Don't get me started.
But hey, I'm just saying your point. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, the Walking Dead game I think does it pretty well. The Telltale one, not the Walking Instincts one, the Walking Dead Instincts game with Daryl Dixon. There's a lot of like, because a zombie in general is kind of a tall task to take down if you really think about it, and they do a good job of like building the tension where it's like, okay, you disabled its legs, but now it's still crawling after you, and okay, now you shoot in the head with the gun that was just out of reach or whatever. I think they do a good job in that game of creating that tension and making sure not to overdo it. At least not at the beginning. Like I think the first 2 or 3 episodes, it's not too the zombies are kind of manageable for the most part. But then you get to like episode 4, and it's like, okay, here's the zombies following the train, and here's like the city full of zombies for episode 5. So I think they did a good job of building to that. Whereas Resident Evil, the movie, it just kind of like goes way too hard, way too quickly. If they had like started with that mansion, and like, okay, there's a zombie that somehow got all the way here, and there's like one zombie, she has to like really fight to take down this one zombie. That would have been so cool, but obviously they need obviously the big reveal needs to happen, 40 minutes into the movie or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and just like she goes like from like useless to immediately badass in like a snap of a finger. And it's like, okay, I don't ever feel like she's in danger because she just kills everything instantly. Does all these parkour random kick flips off the wall to kick dogs, and
part was hilarious.
It was like, yeah. And I remember that like being like in the trailer or commercials or whatever, and kind of being like, oh, look at this badass like moment. And it's not. It's just so stupid. Like I laughed at that.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of the two fun scenes of the movie. Like, even though I don't want the dogs to die, but they're already infected, so it's like whatever.
Yeah.
That was at least a fun scene where the action is like fun. Because I think it's just because it's Mia Djokovic at her best, just solo kicking dogs in the face. I guess.
Oh, so fun, so dumb. Unfortunately, I can't say that about the rest of the movie. It was just dumb.
Going back to the beginning, I don't understand why they had to flood those science labs. Like, I get how it happened because they're airtight rooms.
Yeah.
But, like, why did we have to flood them? Like, how long did it take for that room to fill with water? Just to... And the one guy was, like, hitting the window with the axe. There's, like, 4 little spike points in the like he had to have had at least 10-15 minutes to work at that. Like, did he just decide to stop when the water was like knee high and he was like, well, guess I'm fucked,
it's all over.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dumb, and especially because I think like the fire alarm went off, whatever, and the sprinklers went off, but like those sprinklers, I think, have a limited amount of water in them. They don't just keep going continuously.
Don't tell the writers that, Tay. It'll break the illusion.
How about that girl getting murked by that freaking elevator?
Yeah, that was...
In the beginning?
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was just funny. Like, her head, like,
she
like, her head goes up and then it like, woo, and she's screaming. Yeah, it was funny. It was...
I mean, it's funny that she's like, oh yeah, I can fit through that hole, and it's like her head barely fits through it, and it's like, why would you think that? Also, it's just your head that's stuck. I mean, they could easily pull you out.
Yeah, there was no way she was stuck.
Yeah.
Well, that guy was too concerned about the coffee all over his shirt. He's like, I want to pull you in, but these coffee stains.
Might ruin my shirt even more.
I do appreciate, though, that they didn't have the random elevator spikes that a lot of movies have in elevator shafts. Where just like I think it was Mission Impossible, the first one. They had giant, like, jagged spikes at the bottom of the elevator shaft, and like that's how one of the guys died. He like fell down into these elevator spikes, and it's like, why are there elevator spikes? And there's been other movies that I think have done that too, where it's just like, why do writers think there are spikes at the bottom of elevator shafts?
Are there, though? Do we know that's not true?
Well,
I've seen
they played a bit too much
shaft.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that one stage with the spikes everywhere.
Yeah. And maybe that's where they saw Mission Impossible and went, oh, cool, I'm going to put spikes everywhere. But no, bottom of elevator shafts do not have spikes.
Darn.
Aww.
Yeah, most of the time, if an elevator actually failed like that, I'm not sure exactly at what height it's deadly. But for the most part, if the elevator shaft door, like all the doors are closed, as the elevator falls down, it actually builds up like air, like a cushion of air underneath it. So it's actually not as deadly as movies would have you believe.
Interesting.
But like I said, I think that's up to a certain point. I think if it is high enough, I don't know. I can't remember. It was a Mythbusters episode, and now I don't.
Well, you can always, test it.
Sure. Now I just got to find a way to disable elevator shafts.
Just
and make sure
I'm sure they'll do it for you.
Yeah, make sure none of the doors are open so the air can't escape as the elevator goes down.
Right.
But I feel like if you'll just, like, you're floating in midair, if you have that airtight lock or whatever, and then once you hit the bottom, you're just going to smack the bottom.
No, I mean, if it's going fast enough that you're flying off, like floating up in the air, then yeah, you'll probably die. But most of the time, its terminal velocity is pretty close to yours.
You're moving at the same speed usually as the elevator.
Yeah, so you don't actually float up.
As to survive an elevator fall, you're supposed to lay down.
Yeah,
it's what everyone says, at least.
Yeah.
Well, it's like during a plane incident, they're like, oh, put your head between your knees and keep your tray table up. Like, Yeah, if maybe if you land in the in water, you're okay. But if you land on ground, well,
Well, yeah,
it's not going to really help you too much. Right?
a plane's just
Especially
getting
the-
shredded.
Tray will come and just cut you in half.
But that's
you
why you
land
put
hard
that's why
enough?
you put your tray table up and your seat back in the
Oh,
full
up,
upright
I
position.
thought you said down.
Yeah, no. You want it up, or else, yeah, you would probably be cut in half by it.
Tray table up and the seat back in the pool upright position. Come on, Weird Al.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I do recognize that. Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Right. He survives the if Al can do it, then you can do it.
Exactly.
We can survive Al. We can do it.
Oh, you don't like Weird Al?
I love Weird Al.
Okay, good. Because I was like, do we have to throw hands?
Absolutely
hands
not.
down.
Are we about to start season 4 of the podcast here today?
Yeah. Try your kickoff.
Oh.
He's doing a new tour. We got tickets for it.
Ooh.
No way.
Next year. He's coming
Nice.
around here next year.
And they
Let's
weren't that
go.
expensive either.
I know. You were worried.
I thought they were going to be in the 300s,
Yeah,
400s.
Grady's like, my cap is $250, and I'm like, well, they're $100.
They weren't even $100. They're
Well, yeah. I mean,
70 a piece or
with the
73?
fees, it was like
That's-
$100.
Yeah. With all the fees that Ticketmaster puts on,
Yay, ticket.
that are pointless and
yeah, which aren't needed, and they just because they're a monopoly and they can do it. Anyways,
That's right.
we don't need to rant
A
about.
monopoly, just like Umbrella Corporation. They control everything.
Oh yeah,
Ayo.
exactly.
Full circle.
We brought it back.
all right,
You know,
back to Resident.
Honestly, the most Resident Evil part of this movie is the end where it zooms out and she's walking down the destroyed street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that's the most Resident Evil part of the movie. And
But you're telling me, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying the movie should have started there and then just ended 2 seconds later. I would have been like, that was great.
Right.
But
it's
you're
like-
telling
that
me
means-
there's enough people that couldn't stop the zombies?
Well,
That's why the second movie is closer to the games and better. Like it takes place like immediately. It picks up right where this one leaves off, and like all the members of Stars show up, and like I said, Jill Valentine's actually in it, and
Leon.
they're fighting. And Mia's still
Chris?
in it too. She's in all of them. You know, they made 8 movies of them, 8 Resident movies now or whatever, and like I guess the experiment they did on her in the end like made her into a superhuman zombie killing machine or something. I don't know. It was dumb, and I've like just should have just killed Alice off.
Well, I mean, once you start getting like the video game characters in there, you don't really. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'd be fun to have her around, but she doesn't need to be the main character anymore.
Exactly. But
I think she has the look for like a Resident Evil. Like maybe she's a bit.
Sure.
Maybe it's a bit like too on the nose with like the red dress or whatever. Like I don't know if I would want to be in a zombie apocalypse in a dress, but
yeah.
well, I guess that's why I think there's like a. I think I saw the poster for one of the movies. She's in like a black spandex outfit or whatever. So I guess she eventually changes her style, but
Yeah, she does. And really, like, because I mean, that's Veronica's dress, basically, and what Code Veronica, I think.
well, it's either that or it's oh wow, I'm blanking on the Asian lady's name right now.
That's Veronica,
No,
I thought.
no, that's not Veronica. That's no. Hold on, I can look it up real quick.
Well, that is who I'm thinking. Whoever you're talking about, the Asian girl, that's who I was thinking of. I thought that was Veronica because I thought she was on the
Ada
cover of
Wong.
Okay.
I had a mind
Well, I
blank.
thought
there.
let me look, Code Veronica game.
I mean, the
I thought in
dress.
the cover she had the dress. Oh no, I was not thinking of Veronica. I was thinking of Ada Wong.
Everyone's saying Code Veronica is the next game to be remastered.
Well, it's probably gonna be 5. they already
hope.
skipped over Veronica already, so at this point it doesn't make sense to go back
Yeah.
because Veronica was after 2 or 3.
Well, if I remember, Code Veronica is technically like a prequel game or something.
Well, that's Resident Evil 0.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There's so many of them. I've
Yeah,
lost
I mean,
track.
there's a bunch of them. I would like them to remaster the bad ones. Like, there's a couple of like
good.
stinkers, and you can make them good and like actually make them like. I mean, I'm sure there's people who are sadistic and love playing the first-person shooter Game Boy game, but you could definitely turn that into a better concept. Like,
Yeah.
and with the like, I get why they're jumping to 5 now, because you can add in like the co-op element and you can kind of change the aesthetics a little bit. People were so angry that game was so bright, and I'm like, well, it was a bit. It's just a change of pace. It's more action paced. It's we're going through multiple days. It's not just one night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll defend Resident Evil 5 to the end of the days, and I don't honestly believe that it needs a full remake treatment. But I'm not going to complain if I get to play through the game again with my best buddy.
Maybe they'll add online multiplayer.
Well, that's what we don't want, because Resident Evil 3 had online multiplayer, and they completely they cut Resident Evil 3 in half to make room for the multiplayer mode. So Resident Evil 3, the remake, is like half of Resident Evil 3, like the Cliff Notes version, essentially. They kind of fucked that one up.
Fair enough.
But if they just have co-op in there, I'll be fine with that. Because the Resident Evil 5 is based around co-op, so you gotta put that in there. And they have to put in Chris punching a boulder. If they take that out because they're like, it's not realistic enough, I will riot.
As you should.
Yeah.
I think one of the charming things about Resident Evil games is there's always that little bit of campiness pushed in. Obviously, it goes to the extreme with Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6, but you gotta love some of that camp in there. Which is maybe what Resident Evil the movie needed. Maybe it needed some more some actual good campy fun in there.
I feel like they tried to kind of go for like a grindhouse camp feel and like failed miserably. Like, especially just like that first scene where like it's just like the person working in the with the virus and stuff, and it just slowly zooms in on them, where it's like, this doesn't, like, what are you going for here? Because it's not like we're like going down a corridor to like see what's going on. We can clearly just see it's just a small image coming closer. Like, there was just so many bad cinematography decisions, and it was bad. It was bad.
Was it bad?
It was bad, Ray.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is coming from the same guy who did Alien vs. Predator, so kind of tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. Does he still make movies at this point?
Yeah, he has a movie coming out in 2024 called In the Lost Lands. Oh, this is the guy who made that Pompeii movie. Oh my god.
So people are still giving him stuff to do, even though everything he's done has just been bad.
He made the Monster Hunter movie from 2020. Why are they giving him video game properties to work with?
Yeah.
This one has an average rating of 2 stars.
Did he do the other Resident Evil movies as well?
I don't know if this is all of them. You have to see, but he did Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil Afterlife, and Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. So that does sound like possibly all of them.
No, that's like half of them.
Oh God. Okay. Oh.
So he didn't do Resident Evil 2, which was the one that's closest to the game.
So the good one he did not work on. Wow, shocker.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's. I mean, it's the good one, but I don't know if it's necessarily good. It's been a while since I've seen it. So
Well, he did show that he could work with a video game property and make it good, because he did the original Mortal Kombat movie, which I find that one very charming and fun to watch. So what the heck happened between Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil? I don't know.
Did you say he did Resident Evil Apocalypse?
No.
Okay, yeah, because that is what the second one is called. I didn't realize it had a subtitle. I thought it was just Resident Evil 2.
We're going the Fast and Furious route here, where it changes every time.
And look, it's Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, and then Resident Evil: The Final Chapter.
Okay, yeah. Let's not try and make any sense of this. Like I get it when the movies are coming out, it's like, oh, it's the second one because there's only one. But when you're going back and trying to look at the series, like even though you can see like the years that came out, it's like if I just had all 5 of these movies, all 6 of them, on like a piece of like a notepad, I couldn't tell you which one's first or last. Even with the posters for the movie or the covers for the movies, like of course the final chapter, I would probably automatically put that one at the end. But these other ones, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could probably get the first movie being Resident Evil and the last movie being the final chapter, and that would be it.
Yeah. Well, Resident Evil 2 poster does say Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse. So you would know that one too.
The one I'm looking at doesn't have it.
Really? Oh, okay. The ones I am does.
Maybe this is the letterbox thing. Sometimes they just use the highest res image.
Yeah, because I'm just on Google.
All right, the movie.
We're literally talking about the movie. You can't make that joke when we're actually talking about the movie. You missed your chance when we were talking about I don't know what we were talking about before. I don't even know at this point. So, would you say that this is better than Doom from 2005? Anyone here seen Doom?
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say.
Why you tell us?
I would say
I've seen pieces of it, and I know it's bad.
Oh, I mean, I think that Doom is more fun. I think it's just like I think that has just the right amount of campiness to it.
Yeah. Well, were
Obviously-
they better? Did they act better in it?
I abstain from this question.
That's fair.
No, they definitely have the same level of like bland acting. The Rock guy, he goes psycho in this movie, which is kind of fun, but in the end is kind of lame. There's also like a very famous part of the movie where they change the first person. Like the guy takes like an adrenaline shot, and the camera goes first person, which is actually quite fun to watch. But that's like 5 minutes of a, how long is this movie? 105-minute movie. So, but I mean, if I was locked in a chair and they said, okay, you either have to watch Resident Evil 5 times or you have to watch Doom from 2005 5 times, I go with Doom I would go with Doom every time. I mean, Resident Evil is just so boring. Like maybe I'd be able to nod off and go to sleep, but if my eyes were forced open to watch and I couldn't go to sleep and they pumped you full of like meds, at least Doom has a more just is better in general.
That's fair. Now, if they said Resident Evil or Silent Hill, which movie would you go for?
I haven't seen the Silent Hill movie.
Silent Hill movie is actually like. Did you play the games at all?
No.
Yeah, that's fair. There's parts in this, like the Silent Hill 1.
I've
there
seen
were
this
two
movie
of them.
poster.
Silent Hill 1 actually has like shots straight from the game, like in the movie. They changed things up a little bit, which wasn't quite as good as it could have been. I believe the second one was better for that one too. But its first one was still way better than than Resident Evil.
Yeah, I don't think we're saying that the movie has to be one for one the game.
Yeah.
But there are just some things that are like blatantly obvious that they should do, and they just don't.
Yeah.
Starting off with like the weapons in the game, like I was kind of expecting like, oh, we could see like, you know, maybe a like one of those C15 pistol or one type pistols, because that's gets used so often in Resident Evil games, and oh, we could get like a MP5 or whatever, you know, and we could get like a Magnum or something, but they never do that. It's just a M911, and I don't even remember what their submachine guns were. It's funny because the gun that's in the movie poster with like the grenade launcher attached to it, was that even in the movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this gun in the movie. And if they did have this gun with a grenade launcher, why didn't they use the fucking grenade launcher? What are we doing here?
Oh, that was on the train the whole time. They forgot it.
Oh yeah, it was in that. It was in the pipes. It was mixed
Yeah.
up in the pipes. They didn't notice it was there.
Yeah.
Which, when I first saw the pipes hanging in the train, I was like, "There's no other reason that's going to be there except to kill something." Like, why else would there be a bag of pipes in this just hanging in this train? Like, that's so stupid.
It didn't have anything like it was a transport train for people. Yeah, why would there be pipes hanging in there?
I mean, why would they be hanging in general? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't they be racked or something? You know?
Something you'd think.
But you see those pipes hanging there, and you're like, well, that'll be used at the end of the movie. Like, if they don't use it at the beginning, it'll be at the end. It's too bad that this isn't so bad it's good kind of movie, too, because I think that maybe would have been fun, at least to watch. But it's just, this is just a so bad that it's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's even worse for people who are Resident Evil fans, because you look at this and you say, "Yeah,
The hell is this?
Huh. This is new.
It says
Yeah.
Resident Evil, but I don't see Resident Evil."
Yeah. They had Umbrella, like, and what was the other movie we'll watch recently where it's just like, they just took, like, oh, we have this IP, we have this property we can use, so we'll just take, they didn't even take any of the character names. They're just like, we'll just take that there's zombies and Umbrella Corp. Done.
That's all we need.
All we need.
That's the two pieces of the formula. We don't need anything else. I mean, just add a little bit of tension in here or something. You know, that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's just one random scene after another.
Yeah.
I think the laser scene was supposed to be tension, and I think that was the closest it got to tension. It didn't get there, but I think that was the closest it got.
Or the elevator.
I think, you know,
Oh yeah, the elevator, it
Yeah.
shot its wad really early.
or the liquor dude was supposed to be, well, dude, I shouldn't say dude, but the liquor supposed to be intense. Wasn't really.
Yeah.
No, you're more distracted by how awful it looks, and
Yeah.
how it doesn't
Exactly.
blend in with the scene at all. They even have like dark the scene. Well, no. Okay, so the first time you see the liquor fully, it's dark, but then at the end of the movie, they're like, and here's broad, well, I guess full lighting. This
Yeah.
looks good.
And it's just, at first I'm thinking, oh yeah, I mean it was 2002, of course. It was like, no, Lord of the Rings was 2002, and it looked better.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Oh,
good CG movies that came out in 2002.
yeah. This was not one of them.
And this movie, like, it doesn't seem like a low budget movie. Like with their sets and stuff, it seemed like they had a decent budget.
They tried it in at some points. They
Yeah.
tried.
They spent it all on the rubber that they put on the back of the dogs.
Yeah.
The rubber dog suits. Those cost how much?
No,
18 million. Our budget was 30 million.
they probably had to have a group of trainers there. They probably had to have some,
Yeah.
pay some people from the, what is it, the HSCPA or whatever it's called.
Well,
Yeah,
then
they-
they had to pay Mila's, salary. Michelle Rodriguez, I think at that point was decent enough that she probably had a decent salary.
Yeah.
Everyone else was no name.
I feel like the lead,
The cop guy.
yeah, I feel like I've recognized him from somewhere.
He's been in stuff, but I don't know if I would call him like a big name actor.
I guess.
Just call him annoying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in this movie, and it just the way he looked, I don't know why. It's just like I'm just looked at him, I was like, God, this guy is just such like a dude bro douchebag. So, I don't know. I can't explain it. Just looking at him, I was just like something about it. Just he doesn't feel quite real. Maybe his head is too big. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Probably in the pipes.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you guys? The cheap jump scares. Wait,
Oh.
what?
Were there?
Don't get me started on those. Oh.
Oh yeah, they were all over the
you
place.
you all know I hate jump scares, but
I do
it's like,
too.
they're so freaking cheap, dude. Like, come on.
But I can't think of any that, like, maybe no. I can't think of any jump scares though. And
it was always just a very loud like musical cue.
Yeah. That's why I hate them. Like, I understand that's the whole point, but I get very overwhelmed very easily by very loud noise.
Yeah. And you know that it's coming too, and you're just like, you jump because of the music or the sound.
And it's awful.
No,
you
I didn't
scare me without it.
Yeah, I didn't have the music the volume very high, so I must have not.
Doesn't matter.
The girl, in the
tank
tube, she touched the glass. That was a jump scare.
That was the one I was thinking that could be, but like,
and there's one where
it didn't get me.
Milla was like looking through like an open like peephole in the metal door, and then the marine dude, was like just right next to her for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a right way to do like a kind of like a pseudo jump scare, and there's a wrong way. And I feel like we bring this up every single time with whether it be Get Out or this movie or whatever. And it's like, if you just have, just a loud noise or an unnatural sound coming from something, it's like, sure, it can make you jump, but it's not effective and it's not scary. Yeah. Like, there's a scene, I think I brought this up during Get Out as well, but there's a scene in The Visit with like the old grandma who's kind of going crazy and the kids are filming, where she just like makes like this weird demonic shriek, and it doesn't make any sense because it didn't actually, like, she doesn't do it in the rest of the movie, and there's like no demonic thing happening in the movie. And also like Saw, when they do like the big pig squeal when the guy in the pig mask like captures somebody, like, it's not like it's actually a pig person. It's just a mask, and they're definitely not making the pig squealing noise. It's just something that you've added in post to give it a bit of an extra kick. And it's jump scares like that are really annoying, because it's like, if you muted the audio, or as Tate had turned it down, it's not scary on its own. It needs to have that jolt of sound, and it's just so cheap. Like, there's a way to do it, which we've seen plenty of examples in modern filmmaking that have actually done it right, where it's not just a loud burst of sound. It's like maybe something's creeping up behind someone, and then it's just like wham. Like there's ways to do it, but this and many other examples just do it wrong, and it just makes the movie feel either lazy or it just lacks the impact that it truly needs. It'll get the reaction, but it won't get the same. It just doesn't have the same intensity as a good jump scare, like one that's like not exactly a jump scare, but a scare,
Another time was when that dude who was handcuffed the whole time, who turns on them at the end, the zombie girl. Like, you knew she was a zombie, but they had to have that scream and attack, and it's just like, okay, come on.
Yeah. I guess I could see them being jump scares, I guess.
Yeah, you probably watch it without sound.
No.
Well, I mean, like I said, if the sound was low enough, you wouldn't even notice it, really. Because, but I had the sound up decently high, and when that happened, it was like noticeably like, we're trying to scare you, like.
Yeah. No, like,
I usually watch the movies with headphones, so
Well, that'll really exacerbate that problem.
Yeah, I said, I didn't have it like so quiet I couldn't hear it, but I didn't have it like super loud either, so I didn't register that they were supposed to be jump scares, but also just because like they were so obvious that they were coming that it just had no impact.
Yeah.
It's also your second time watching too. So.
Yeah, which that probably also helped. But like, even so, like, movies I've seen second times, if they've actually incorporated an actual jump scare, well, I still hate them. It's like they can still get me. It's like, I knew that was coming, but damn it. But yeah, there was like, I didn't like I said, pretty much the only reaction I had to this movie was when she did the parkour and kicked the dog. It was like I just laughed at how absurd it was. Other than that, I was just, yeah, this is the movie I remember.
Cinema.
Yeah.
Horror. Zombies.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, even when I saw it originally, I remember just thinking, this movie is dumb. And then, like, having friends be like, oh, I love that movie. It was so cool. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah, well,
There's nothing good about it.
those same friends probably would watch it today and be like, yeah, this is dumb.
Oh, yeah. They probably would now. I mean, they were, like I said, we were in high school. And, like, I didn't have great taste in movies in high school. Like, I could find enjoyment in most dumb movies. But even this one, I thought, well, like, no, this was just dumb.
I was checking the comments, like, while it was on, like, on YouTube, because I rented it, and people were like, this is still a masterpiece, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are we watching the same movie? Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever, like, seen a masterpiece before?
Blink twice if you're real.
Yeah, they flood the comment section with bots to try and get a new Resident Evil movie made.
Exactly.
Look how many people love the old movies. We got to bring this back.
I'm still surprised that they made 6 of them.
I didn't even know they were a movie. I had no idea. Like, I knew about the video games because my ex tried to get me to play Resident Evil 2, and I told him, I was like, listen, if they're jumpy things, if it's scary, I'm going to be scared. And I am going to jump, and I'm going to probably cover my eyes and drop whatever controller I have. And he was like, it's not that bad. And so, like, here I am, like, terrified at everything because I'm an Animal Crossing girl this time. Like, I didn't play anything else. And I'm, like, scared for my life, and he was, like, getting mad at me. I was like, bruh, I told you. Like, this was not for your health. This was not for your enjoyment. Like, I told you I was going to be scared, and I am. And I'm not doing this anymore, so I have not touched it since.
Yes. The game about a stranger following you, a big, tough stranger following you through a mansion is not scary at all.
Nope.
Now we know why he's your ex.
Yeah. That was one of the straws, yes.
That boggles my mind. Oh, it's not that bad. What are you
honestly,
talking about?
That part doesn't even bother me because, like, we have different perspectives of what could be bad or what couldn't. The part that bothered me is that I warned him how I was going to react, and he still got pissed at it. Like, bruh.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I think Resident Evil is not objectively, subjectively. Is that the right one? It's subjectively a scary game, and I think most people who hear the words Resident Evil know that even though they do get action intense at times, the core gameplay is, fighting,
evil.
horror, evil, evil. Like that's the name. It's in the name. Like
there are residents nearby, and they're evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to recommend a Resident Evil game to someone who doesn't like horror games, you go for the ones that are like it's like Resident Evil 5 or
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, 4 still retains its horror, even though it's more action packed, but it's a bit more. It's obviously more
definitely
campy.
not as horror. Yeah, it's definitely not as horror packed as like the first 3.
They definitely tried to change that in the remake to be more horror esque. But yeah, 5 and
5 was just straight up action game.
I would say even like the newest one, Resident Evil 8, was also very action packed, even though it had moments where it was scary, like frightening, but it was mostly an action game. They really honed it in with Resident Evil 7 again, which got me excited for 8. And even though I loved 8, I kind of missed that Resident Evil 7 like claustrophobic house feeling that they had for a lot of it. Even though they had, even though Resident Evil 8 did have like a lot of sections to it, which reminded me of many different Resident Evil games. Like the castle feels like Resident Evil 2, and the area surrounding the castle and in the fields kind of feels like Resident Evil 4, and there's parts where you're just kind of like bobbing and weaving through enemies that kind of feels like Resident Evil 3, and there's more action-packed sequences that feel more like Resident Evil 5, and so yeah, I would say like Resident Evil 5 and 8 are like the two that are, even though they still have like scary moments, they're much more action focused, and I feel like they're not super scary. But everything, like anything else, I would be like, yeah, that's probably gonna scare your pants off. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna need to wear a diaper while playing this one. I mean, I guess I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah, but yeah, that's say it's not that bad. It's like not that bad for a horror game, so it's still a horror game. And if somebody's afraid of horror games, they're gonna be frightened of it.
yeah, well, a lot of people also lose touch with their original reaction to something. Like I've played through Outlast so many times that I don't really get scared by it anymore. So I kind of disassociate from that original feeling of like intensity and scared and being scared. And nowadays it's like, oh, it's not that scary. But you know, my first playthrough of that game, I was like, I was tensed up and I was anxious around every corner. You know, like that's one of those games that really does that well. But on multiple playthroughs, when you know what's coming up and you know how to escape something, and it loses a bit of that tension and that intrigue.
Yeah. Which one was Outlast again? Is that the one where like the pig guy like chases you?
Yeah, he's. I guess he's kind of piggish, I suppose. But it's the game where you pretty much just are looking through a camera the whole time. You're videotaping.
I mixed that one up. Condemned was the other one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten around to play those ones, but they sound interesting.
They're well, from what I heard, I played the first one and it didn't age well.
Oh, all right.
And then I hear the second one is just bad.
Oof.
Yeah.
I just bought that one too. It was only like $10 at half price books.
Oh well, I mean, you might enjoy it. I know my friends who got me to play the first one were just like, I don't like the second one because they added like the. It came out at the same time as like Dragon Age, so it added some of the mechanics from Dragon Age that like were big and popular that they didn't like, but
that's weird. Okay, well,
so
interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, are we done talking about the movie?
I think so.
I think I'm good.
All right, Greedy, start us off with your final thoughts and rating.
I do have to ask Ray one thing. Were you all at Squeamish at all, or what's the...
Squeamish?
Squeamish?
You know, the laser part, really hated that. Like,
really?
It didn't
everything?
make me like nauseous or anything. I just wasn't expecting to see the innards of one's neck. And
then also like when the guy's eye starts liquefying.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
Why his eye do that though?
Like the gunkiness of like the rubber suits on the dogs and the blood, like just bleh.
They were too busy laughing at it to be skirmish a bit.
I was just, I wasn't laughing. I was just like, huh, all right, this is happening, and that's about it. But yeah, when her head slid off, I was like, oh, all right.
Oh my.
Oh my.
But no, I think because it was so old and like they did not do well with the effects, I was okay.
All right. So the review of Resident Evil 2002. I mean, the action did kind of, keep me interested in it because, it was just bad. You just had to watch it to kind of understand, the action, kind of carried the movie in terms of ways, I guess. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, thankfully. I think if it was any longer, it could have gone, a little body boot, done a couple points down a little bit. The acting, I mean, it was not the greatest. Some annoying characters. Milla did okay. That's her name, right? Milla. She was good, but it was just very random at times, like I said in the beginning, where it was just like, okay, here's a flashback, and I get it, they were trying to build up, like the background of it, but it just seemed like very, very random, at times, and it just, just like the idea was there, but it just wasn't executed properly. The CGI wasn't good. The zombies design wasn't good, and the zombies honestly pissed me off more than made me scared because, it's like how many times they could have grabbed, that person and that person would have been eaten if it was actually real life. But no, they're just gonna, like Yemmy said, touch them, feel them, and then, release them. It's just like, all right, come on. But like I said, the premise was there, but, the execution just was not. I'm going to give this movie a 2 out of 5.
Okay. For me, I don't even know if necessarily the premise was there, especially if they were going for Resident Evil. Like if they had just called this movie something else, if they had called it something else, it'd be like, okay, yeah, it's something else. That's fine because this movie is something else. It's not Resident Evil. The acting was bad. The cinematography was bad. The effects were bad. There wasn't too much redeemable about this movie. Like, it's not so bad that, like, watching it, you're like, like, I didn't want to, I guess, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But, like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's bad. It toes the line of being so bad, it's a bit entertaining. Overall, yeah, I also would give it a 2 out of 5.
Right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say about it.
Well, if you want Yummy to go,
You just say ditto and move on.
Just rate it. Yeah, just be like, yep, this is it.
I genuinely got kind of bored. I'm one of those weirdos that gets bored at action movies that aren't done very well. So there's that.
That's normal.
I hope so. I would have rather played Resident Evil 2 than watched the movie. So, that being said, I also didn't think the acting was great. So
it was bad. It was bad.
It was real bad. It was real bad. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5.
Nope.
I thought about doing that, but
yeah. Resident Evil, the movie. Yeesh. Oh boy. Bruh.
Yikes.
Bruh.
This is awkward. Wow. Okay. All right. Yikes. Okay. All right. Yep. They did that.
Are these all your notes you wrote while watching?
Oh boy. Howdy.
That's all literally our podcast could have been. It could have been 2 minutes.
And I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I changed mine. I gave it a 1.5 as well.
What's the 0.5? I've got to know.
So when she kicks the dog, that's like a half a point. The end, like the laser section is like a full point. I would give it. So there's your 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Respect.
It's so bad. It toes the line of being entertaining because it's so bad. That's why. Yeah. That's where it gets mine. So I changed mine to 1.5 too.
I agree with Ray. Like it's a boring, like, even though it's an action movie, it's just the most boring, mundane action. They're firing thousands of rounds into these zombies, and they're not like. it's just so it's boring.
Unentertaining.
Yeah.
I took a call from my sister during it, and I didn't pause it.
You probably missed the most important part.
I don't think so.
You missed her naked at the end.
The ending, because we got there.
You missed the part where they walked through a hallway.
Whoa.
And then walked through another hallway.
No!
I don't think so. I think I got that one.
Okay. Well, maybe it was when they walked through a hallway and then a different hallway.
No, you're right. I missed that one. I missed the hallway.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Yeah. Good catch.
You know what? I'm also going to give it a 1. It was so dumb.
I think this is my 5th movie now that we all hated.
But it's fun to talk about. They're
I should just retire. You guys can move on to season 4.
No.
Well, next time around, just pick a movie that
Just be better.
You know,
like,
is
pick
good.
pick like the Godfather or something. That way you get an instant win. You know.
Well, which Godfather are you picking? Because it's not an instant win.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you would want to start with the, like, if Greedy came on, it's like, well, I'm picking Godfather 3. I'd be like, hold on a second, we haven't reviewed the first two.
That's
movies.
why I had to start with the original Resident Evil. Like,
I've never seen the
the third one has the best ratings out of all of them. By best, I mean like 25%.
Yeah, I don't know how did they make 6 of these if they didn't do good?
So many
I think
games.
they made a lot of
Netflix.
money in the theaters because it's it's a very popular IP.
Yeah, I guess. And like the second one is better than the first one. And I was looking, they got the actress who plays Jill Valentine is in like the next 4 movies. And then I think they kill her off or something in the second to last one. I don't know.
Well,
or she just finally went, I'm done.
Well, does anyone have any small recommendations before we get to the next recommended movie? Does anyone have any small recommendations for this week?
Find the
Don't
love
get
of your
COVID.
life.
Oh, that's a good one, Ray.
Yeah. What do you mean by that, Ray? I'm kidding. You don't have to say anything.
I was gonna say something way out of pocket.
No, do it.
No, it's okay. But no, find somebody that really does make your life better.
Agreed.
Or even better. It's nice.
I don't know. I've been single all my life, so let's go.
Hey.
Hey, if that makes you happy, then that's good.
That is true.
Yep. I fully believe in that too.
Well, my recommendation is to shut everyone out and never let anyone in. Kidding.
Well.
Season 4 without Yemmy.
No, my real recommendation is they added Civil War to Max, HBO Max, and I watched it, and it was pretty good. It was kind of interesting.
Which Civil War?
It's just called Civil War from 2024.
Okay.
And
It's
you
about,
knew that it's no Civil War.
No, it's not Captain America Civil War. It's about like the American Civil War.
No, it's about a civil war that breaks out in the near future. And you follow like a group of wartime journalists and photographers, and it's shot really well. I think it's acted pretty well too. Obviously, it probably could have used a little bit more action just to help the pacing a little bit, because there's a lot of times where they're just not a lot's going on. But I thought it was good. I liked the idea.
It hits a little too close to home, but
well, yeah, it definitely it is a bit weird. The setup is like Texas and California break away and they form like a they join forces, and I'm like, Texas and California, huh?
that is a really weird premise.
And then the other bizarre thing is like, and Florida is like its own. It's like they have their own militia in Florida. They're not as well trained, but they're still like it's like their own thing, which I guess I kind of could believe. But
yeah, I can believe. I also believe no one would take them seriously or even worry about them.
They send an army of gators after you.
yeah.
Florida's like, we're breaking off too. Everyone's like, oh, cool, thanks.
So yeah, even though this is like a dystopian pseudo future Civil War type thing, you gotta suspend your disbelief a little bit for the whole Texas and California joining forces type thing.
Yeah,
because I just don't see that happening anywhere in the near future.
No, I don't either.
But yeah, it's on
Two
Max
different
now.
political parties joining together. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4. So
Okay.
enjoyable, interesting.
I originally read your review and I thought you said there's no Civil War or something along the lines, but now I reread it. I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say in the review, so I just put a quote from, I think it's like Abraham Lincoln or something like that.
Yeah, but I just misread it. I was like, wait a minute, you gave it a 4, but you said there's no Civil War about it or something like that.
And the other silly thing is like the letterbox synopsis says the United States stands on the brink of civil war, but like the Civil War already has broken out. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why they have this, like, they're on the brink of civil war. No, it's already here. They're already in the thick of it.
It's called Civil War for a reason.
Yeah. It's not pre-Civil War.
Yeah.
It is Civil War.
Maybe they'll do a prequel series called The Brink. And then, but that synopsis will say Civil War has broken out.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Small recommendations this week.
Nope.
Hit my mic again. I apologize. I'll try and edit that out.
I didn't even hear it.
It'll definitely, you'll be able to hear it on OBS.
Yeah, I'm sure. There was a point where I actually bumped my mic too, so you'll have to edit that one out.
I'll think about it.
Okay. If you don't, whatever, that's fine.
Well,
You do you.
If y'all heard my cat puking in the background, I think we're safe.
Yeah, we did not.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
It wasn't. It was like almost 10 minutes later when I saw your comment that you'll be right back because your cat was sick, and I was like, oh, I didn't even hear you leave.
Well, good. Never mind.
All right, Tay, it's that time.
So now I'm kind of torn.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Who could have seen this coming?
Who could have seen this coming? I have a movie picked, and it kind of fits the theme of of Halloween, like kind of intense horror, but not really intense, or not really horror. It's a little intense. Either that, or I'm thinking, would it be fun now to do like another horror video game movie and pick Silent Hill?
Ooh.
Oh,
But none of you
okay.
have played Silent Hill, so we'll
Yeah.
save that for later.
I've seen people play it.
Oh, okay.
It's like Yemmy.
I don't think I've really even watched. Well, I guess I have watched a bit of gameplay of it. I mean, I know
Didn't you
I
play
get the
through it?
gist. I did not play through it. Callus
Oh.
played the 4th game. If that's what
Maybe
you're
that's
thinking
what I'm
of.
thinking. Yeah, maybe.
Well, my pick then will be Reign of Fire from 2002, directed by Rob Bowman. On the post-apocalyptic In post-apocalyptic England, an American volunteer and a British survivor team up to fight off a brood of fire-breathing dragons seeking to return to global dominance after centuries of rest underground. And it stars Christian Bell, Matthew McConaughey, Isabella Scorupco, Natalia from 007 GoldenEye, Gerard, if I can talk, I can't talk, guys. Gerard Butler, Alexander Siddig, and then some other people that no one will recognize their names because I don't.
We'll tell you, this is funny. This will be our 5th 2002 movie that we watch on the podcast.
In a row or just...
Not in a row. No, just in general.
You did Silent Hill, right?
Oh, no, this will be our 6th because Kung Pao.
Oh. I did not say Silent Hill. I said Reign of Fire.
Oh, I thought you said Silent
You
Hill.
really completely blanked
I was
out
considering...
there.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
I was
I did.
considering Silent Hill, but I went with Reign of Fire. My
Well,
original...
Good thing we put it in the Discord, because I probably would have watched Silent Hill. Okay.
Fun fact about this movie, I mean, we'll go over it a little more. The dragons in this is basically what has inspired all CGI dragons going forward from this movie.
Okay. Well, sounds like a fun concept. Hopefully it'll be a fun watch, unlike Thou Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yeah. I enjoy this movie. Like, it's got a solid 3 on Letterboxd, so... You know, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I think it deserves better than a 3, but I know a lot of people just were kind of meh on the movie. So we'll see what you guys think.
Yeah, we'll see
next
what
time.
we think when we reconvene in 2 weeks to watch Reign of Fire. You can watch it on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube, and etc. All the usual suspects.
I have it on DVD.
Damn! Hold on to that copy. It's going to be very rare someday.
Yeah.
Ray already has a good name for the movie, for her introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Reign of Fire positivity.
There you go.
Which kind of combats each other. I mean, You have fire and positivity. What?
Yeah.
What about the rain of positive fire?
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you go.
But is any fire positive?
Well, the aftermath of a forest fire is regrowth.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
You guys live close enough. You can actually make
we'll make it a sweet
make
tea.
good on that.
Okay. Well, anyone else have anything they want to mention before we end the show?
Don't watch this movie.
All right. We're saying skip ahead to the second movie because that one sounds better.
You can really just watch the second movie, and it's like good. I don't remember if it's really good. I just know it's better than this one.
All right. Well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with
Greedy Waffles.
Hey, Mation.
Ray positivity.
And we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
And the answer to today's question was 30.